Hello and welcome back to the channel. I've got this whole collection of Catan games, and now that the 2025 version of the game or edition is going to be released, I think it's time for me to still make sure that I open these old versions all in the channel. So stay tuned for the next videos where I'll be opening all these boxes one by one. Welcome back to the channel. The video today will be dedicated to Jamaica, the pirate game and racing game, where you'll be racing around an island to try to be the first to get to Puerto Rico. I'm not sure which edition this game is, because it says here extra first edition, one figure exclusive. Not sure if it's bringing the exclusive from another edition or if it's really that first edition. It's not in English, I know, and I cannot see exactly the edition. So if you know, please let me know. At least it's sealed, so I think it's something recent. And this game is cool because the artwork is like a cartoonish. It gives me the vibes of Monkey Island, you know, the computer game Monkey Island, which is one of my favorite games. And I've played this game and I felt it's an interesting game for younger players. So I guess it's time for me to bring this home and show you what is inside Jamaica. Starting by opening it from the side. Okay. The plastic is very close to the game, to the box. Space Cowboys. Funny name for a game company, game editor. Jamaica. Okay. That's it. Plastic gone. So the box is very, very compact. I think the contents will be up to the top before punching. So let's see. We have a rule book here. Wow, it's hey, so strange. Yeah, I see. It's like a folder. It has tabs here. Wow, strange. Yeah, definitely different from the other one that I've played before. Yeah, the game that I played before, the edition, you had a map. You have a rules manual that you wouldn't fold. Look like similar to the One Piece card game and Dragon Ball kind of manual. So this one looks really different indeed. Okay, the kind of paper is different. It's not that glossy paper that you are used to see in board games. It's traditional kind of paper. So this is a six player game. And you will have a ship and a deck, and the objective would be for you to go around Jamaica. And assuming this is Jamaica because of the name of the game, although it says there somewhere, I cannot read it from here. It says, it's named Puerto Rico. Is it Puerto Rico? And so you need to try to be the first to go around, and if you get there, you get more points, like in a race. Okay, and in between, if you stop in a place where there is another boat, you need to engage in fights. So I will explain a little bit more how that works. I'm just for now showing you the manual. Okay, it's a very simple game because this is a card game, above all a card game, and you use dice for an attack. So this is explaining how the fight happens. Yeah, I've never seen a manual in a game like this, like with these tabs, so you can just open what you need. Very interesting. Okay, what else here in the box? So we have the map, we'll get into that. And then the game comes with this insert where you put the 6 decks. I have also expansion. I hope that I can also put the contents of the expansion here, but I don't know. I will open the expansion next. So you get the food tokens, the money, the cannons or the ammunition for the cannon. You get the 6 boats, including the transparent one, which was mentioned in the box as being like first edition or something, which could be used for 2-player mode. You will need to have a ghost ship as a bot, so probably you can use this one to make the ghost ship. Then you have the boat cargo holes. The same thing on both sides. You get 6 of them. This is where you store your merchandise. Yes, this represents the first player. The treasure tokens, we'll see those on the map when I explain how the game is played. The treasure cards, we'll get to that. These are the movement or the action dice, which are regular dice, and then this is the combat die. And is there something here hidden? I'm not sure what's in here. Oh, the decks. So, wow, what's this? Jamaica. And then you have the decks here. Okay. I'm going to show you the decks before explaining how everything goes. So there should be 6 different colors. You have the purple one, which has Mary Reed as the character. Then John Rackman, the red player, John Rackman. Olivier Levasseur, green deck. Edward Drummond, black. Anne Bonny, yellow, the blonde pirate, and then the last one is Samuel Bellamy. So the way the game works is very simple. I was calling it Puerto Rico, but it's Port Royal. That's where everything starts. That's where the boats would start there. All together, like a starting point for the race. I love these boats. Everything starts here. Okay, and then the magic of the deck is, the magic of the game is these 2 dice. So the player that is the first player in this turn, he will just roll the 2 dices, okay, and then on this roll he has a 3 and a 1, and he needs to decide which die he is going to place on the morning action and the die that he's going to place on the night action. Okay, the active player chooses, and then what happens is everyone has 3 cards from their deck in their hands, and everyone need to choose 1 card to be the card to be used on this deck, on this round, right? So the way you read the cards, and it's a good opportunity for me to explain you the cards, is that the action on the left side would be for this dice here, and the action on the right side would be for the right dice. So like the morning action and the night action. So in this case, this card, if you choose it, and the cards are so amazing because they have different artworks. On the morning, you would get gold pieces, gold coins, according to the dice. So in this case, you would get 1 coin, and then on the night, you would move forward 3. So on the night, if this was your boat, you would move forward 3. Okay. Then other kinds of actions. You have this card that, see, they are like discovering the treasure. It gives you 2 money at the same time. And then there are some movement cards that force you to move back and then move forward. So you should use this when you have like a lower left number and a high right number. This one allows you to get food for your boat, and in the evening get ammo, which is getting these things on your boat. This is food and move. Probably you have combinations for everything. Ammo and food, like restocking, ammo and gold, moving and food, moving and cannons, moving and moving and going back. So all the players have similar cards, the decks are the same, and you need to do your proper end management to know what to do. So why do you need money? Why do you need food? Why do you need cannons? Okay, starting with the food. So if you look at the map, the houses where you stop, some of them have gold coins, some of them have squares. It means that for you to stop in any of these that have squares, the squares are the squares for the food tokens, right? So you see, if you take a look at the food token, they are squares, little squares. So that's the amount that you need to pay from your stock when stopping there. Okay, the same thing with the port. So this port costs 3, this port costs 5. So the port itself is this whole region. The one that costs 3, this one that costs 5 is this whole region. So if you stop here, you need to pay. Okay, Then there are parts where the path branches, so you choose which one is easier for you. Sometimes you have different choices where you have on one side only food, on the other side you have money. So you really need to understand where you want to go in order to have the best option for you. Okay. So what happens if you cannot pay? If you land on a spot where you cannot pay? So the game has here on the manual the rules for not being able to play. Okay. So if you are not able to play, you roll the battle die, which is this die. I'll explain how battles work. And then depending on the outcome, you go back the amount of things that the number mentions, right? So if you get a 2 and a 4, you go back to the previous arbor. If you get a 6 or 8, you go back to the previous house of food, and you don't have to pay it. And if you get a skull, you go back to the previous pirate cave. So there's one here, there's one here, there's one up there. There, you don't see it. But if you're lucky, if you are like, I don't want to pay, and I'm super lucky, if you get a star, the boat stays where it is. So could be a lucky shot. You don't pay and you don't go back. So that's part of life. That's living on the edge. Okay, and what happens in terms of a fight? So let's see. If this yellow boat is here and you come with the red boat and you stop there, okay, just the fight only happens if you stop, then the one that moves in is the attacker, and the attacker needs to choose which ship he wants to fight if there are more than one adversary. So what happens then is that the attacker rolls the die, and the dice go from 2 to 10, and then if he has cannons in his ship, he can also add as many number of these tokens to pump up the number. Okay, so if I use 3 and I have an 8, then I have a fighting level of 11. Then the other player rolls his die after, okay, and he can decide if he wants to add or not after that, and whoever has the highest number wins, and in case of a tie, nothing happens. Okay, and by winning means that the attacking player or the winning player can look at the opponent's boat, which is this thing. This is a cargo hold, and he can steal the items from one of the cargo. Okay, so when you get food, when you get money, when you get ammo, you will place here on piles, and if you win a combat, you can choose one of these piles and you steal it completely. Okay, another thing that you can steal is the treasure cards. So across the map, these things will be spread across the map, and once you land there, you get a treasure. The treasure, okay? And there are good and bad treasures. So some treasures may be visible, and I will show you why. And some treasures are hidden because there are points in the end of the game. Okay, so you can steal a visible card from your opponent, or a card that is face down, you don't know what it is. Or if you have a negative treasure, like for example this, which will be -4 money in the end of the game, if you win a battle, you can give the treasure to the other player to get rid of this. Okay, so it's not only stealing, it's also giving bad things. So in terms of treasures, we have the negative ones, which are negative points in the end of the game, and you can draw this. So the treasure deck is here, you draw, and I have a negative thing, so let me try to get rid of this until the end of the game. Then these are the bad ones, which are the points in the end of the game, these extra points, you see. 7 more points, 7 more points, 3 more points, 5 more points, very good. In terms of items, so this one would allow you to re-roll one of your dice, or re-roll the opponent die, you can choose. Very good if you have a bad luck. This one allows you to have 4 cards in your hand instead of 3, which is good. You have more options to play. You can choose better cards for your turn. This one here always gives you 2 extra cannons on your not 2 extra cannons, 2 extra power on fights. So it's a bigger cannon or something. And this is basically a 6 cargo hold that you can have in order to store, because if you have the 5 slots filled, every time you get a new thing to fill the slots, if all of them are filled, you need to choose one and remove what there is and put the new things, because every time you get cargo, you need to fill a new slot. You cannot put on top of the ones that already exist. You need to fill a new one. So that's why this 6 slot is helpful, because it's one more for you to navigate around. And that's it. Don't forget that the money also counts in the end of the game. It's not only to pay the ports, but also that you add in the end of the game, while cannons and foods, if I'm not mistaken, they are basically worthless. Okay, it's Jamaica. That's Jamaica. Very simple game, very friendly for families. Very fun, very cool looking, and I hope you've enjoyed this video to the point that you consider then hitting that like button and subscribing. So don't forget, I'm going to bring, the next video is going to be the expansion. So if you want to be notified for that, don't forget to hit the like button and activate the notifications. And I have playlists for many board games out there, many collections, as well as for the major card games in the market. And I also have a podcast, which I call the Table Talks, where I'm interviewing people to get to know their projects, their profiles, their stories while playing board games online. So I definitely think that you will find interesting content in the channel to consider subscribing and to be part of this community. Thank you for your support, and I hope to see you in the next videos. Goodbye.